So you've just headed out the door for a quick walk to burn off some of your toddler's energy, but within 20 meters, you hear the words up, up, up from one mom who is really conscious of protecting her back to another. Let's talk about 3 ways we can really help our children move out of the stage of always wanting to go up. So first things first, I want to encourage you that this idea of going for a walk with your toddler is a great idea. Honestly, as an occupational therapist, I think that going for daily walks with young children should be on our daily must list. It is so good for building endurance and strengthening those heart muscles. And then also, as you walk on those slopes and downhills, on gravel, on sand, on grass, on pavement, you are challenging your toddler's development in terms of the small muscles around their foot, in terms of their balance skills. There is so much happening just by the variety that outdoor walks provide for our children. It is also a great kind of sensory bucket pour out time for a parent as well as a child. So what I mean by this, and I'll link above a video that I did on overstimulation in young children, is that basically there's a lot in the outdoors that kind of tells our sensory systems that they can be more at rest. So from the movement that we're getting in our proprio and vestibular senses, from the natural light and the sound that can travel instead of bouncing off of walls, the outdoors are very calming for our senses, but they also help us to kind of unwind from all of that sensory build-up that we've had during our day. As parents, we know that raising young children is an incredibly sensory-rich experience for us. And for our young children whose sensory systems are just developing, they always need kind of these reboot times that can bring them back to a kind of sensory safe position. And being outdoors really supports that. I remember a couple of years ago when I had a 2-year-old and a baby and I was at home full time, those walks were like an anchor that I clung to every day because it was just so relaxing and soothing for my sensory system, but also because it really took out some of that energy that my toddler had and set us up for a kind of better start for the day. But of course we ran into that problem of him wanting to come up. And we all know as parents that this kind of defeats the purpose because we get home with a toddler that still has a lot of energy, but we also get home with a hip that feels kind of unaligned and a back that is sore, which is kind of the opposite of what we were looking for when we stepped outside in the first place. So my 3 things that I tried out and that I really would encourage you to do as well when my child was constantly asking for up was firstly to give him something to hold. By giving them something to place in their hand, they're not kind of looking for something. It gives them a kind of a sense of surety and also sometimes helps with their ability to balance and coordinate the way that they are moving. It's something that we actually as therapists often do when we're putting children on obstacle courses. We give them something to hold because it kind of brings them into a forward kind of motion. And with walking, it's just the same. Obviously, the best kind of situation is that they have something to hold that they would be placing somewhere else. So whether that means picking up trash or picking up leaves that you're collecting for something, or just passing them a water bottle or a ball to hold as they walk. This giving them something to hold can really help them stretch a little bit longer in terms of walking independently. The other thing, especially when they are kind of new to walking and that their endurance is really low, is give them a visible end point. Now, it might be up until that pink flower, you're going to walk by yourself and then I'm going to let you come in the stroller. Or it's going to be, we're going to get to the top of the hill and then we'll come down and then we're all done. Giving them that clear, concrete idea of where they're going so that they don't feel like they're endlessly wandering through a desert is really helpful for young children that don't understand yet abstract concepts like finishing soon or 2 more minutes. Giving them that visible, concrete idea of where they have to get to, again, just builds that endurance. And the third thing that we love to do is give the child something to do along their walk. Now, when we were with my 2-year-old, we would often do hunts as we were walking. We would look for different shapes in the plants that we were walking past. First squares, then circles, then hearts, then stars. We would look for different colors. Can you find something that's purple? And we would walk and walk until we found something purple. Can you find something that's pink? And the walk keeps getting longer because they are busy looking for something. They're actively engaged in something. So that process of should I be up or should I be down is a little bit less in their mind because they are focused on something. The other things that we like to do are nature hunts, looking for specific things like animals or twigs or rocks or ants. We also have all kinds of principles that I have within my membership community, Playful Pod, that really encourage this. One of the packs that we did a few weeks ago was an entomologist lab, and we kind of set up a dramatic play area at home, and then we went walking and we had little jars with us and we were looking for bugs. We actually didn't find any bugs, very surprisingly, but we found lots of little rocks and twigs and things like that. And it gave them this idea of what they were doing. So they were actively looking for that. I often find as well with my children that are now a little bit older, still, even though they have the endurance to walk further, often as soon as we go on a hike, their immediate reaction is like, we're tired, we want snacks. So you will want to keep some snacks with you if you are wanting to get to a certain point, but it can also be helpful to give them something to do on these walks. So whether it is bringing along a child's camera, a magnifying glass, a clipboard with something that they're ticking off as they find it, or a jar to put their rocks or bugs into, it can really help them to move along if they have a clear idea of what they are doing. Now, if you're a parent that is interested in getting outdoors with your child, you may have experienced some of the difficulties that come with going to the park with toddlers, like tantrums as you're trying to leave. You can find a video that's on your screen now that talks all about going to the playground or the park with toddlers and some of the things that you'd like to avoid. I'll see you over there.